what's that going to be like for you?
Yeah, I think the positive for us is we've actually been there. I mean, there was 3 years ago you lost Montgomery, you lost Butler and Lazard all at the same time, and they were our offense. And so, I think the big thing for us is we do have a very veteran, talented offensive line coming back. You do have Xavier Hutchison, Jalen Knoll, two really talented players coming back, so there's pieces to build around. And I always think that's positive when you're kind of ushering in a new era of offensive football. It doesn't put the strain on just one person, and you've got some veterans to anchor kind of what's the standard, what's the expectation, how do we practice every day, how do you prepare yourself to go have success, because the talent piece is there. It's how do you prepare yourself to be successful on Saturday, and so it's great to have building blocks around us that those guys can usher those young guys in and allow those guys to find the consistency it takes to win and be successful at our level.
NIL's about a year old now. Has it really changed your job that much?
Not in Ames, Iowa. That's why we like Ames, Iowa a whole lot. It really hasn't. Somebody asked me that earlier. I think I give a lot of credit, at least to our kids, that, I think that the guys that have used that opportunity have used it for very positive opportunities for themselves, their families, maybe to give back and make a difference. And yet we've never found it as an effect where it's had a negative connotation on our team. Or really the player's success. Again, I think one thing with NIL we have to remember is, and they're going to college, they're playing college athletics, and there's only 24 hours in a day. And so where do you want to spend those 24 hours for long-term success? And I think our guys have done a great job from a maturity and leadership standpoint, handling NIL to the best of their ability.
Coach, along those same lines, the portal versus high school recruiting, how do you balance that? And is it out of need or just filling a position?
Yeah, another great question. I think you are always looking at building your football team to be the best it can be. Now for us at 95% of our team has been built through high school recruiting. Again, recruit, retain, and develop your players is at least been the model that we've taken to find success in our program. So not to say that the transfer portal is a bad thing or a good thing, and not to say we haven't used it or won't use it in the future, but I still feel like the key to our success is the ability to keep young players in our program, develop those players to become the best version of themselves and the best players they can be within our system and program.
Along the lines of guys you lost earlier this offseason, one of them was Tariq Milton, I believe. What did Tariq bring to your program, and what's some of his strengths?
Oh yeah, Tariq just a really talented player. Certainly can run. Speed is probably the #1 strength that I would say he had. Honestly, my favorite part about Tariq isn't that he was just this incredible football player, because he was and made big plays for us, but really who he is as a human, who he is as a person. Really one of the young men in our program that came into our program from year one to where he was when he graduated Iowa State. Maybe one of the most transformational young men I've been around. So really proud of him. Who he is, what he is greater than what he does in the football field.
Matt, you were asked up there obviously about being able to keep the rivalry with Iowa. But as a coach, when you look and see all the realignment, I know you have to focus on your program, but when you see all this going on, teams switching conferences, the Big 12 is going to change. We don't know how much, obviously, but what's your thought as a coach as you see all that going, as you're trying to take care of your own program?
Yeah, I really do. I really think that you can, as a coach, you can get lost in things you can't control. And I really try to do a great job, and I always had, because I don't think, #1, we're good enough not to do that in Iowa State, that you just got to worry about what you can control. And if you can take care of your own business and make sure that you put the best product and the best team and continue to build a program the right way, then no matter what happens, you're going to be positioned to have success moving forward. And so, those are great challenges, and it is very an uneasy time, I think, out there. But to be honest with you, I really haven't spent a lot of energy or asked our coaches or our kids to spend a lot of energy, because it's a lot of stuff that we don't have control over.
But as far as what the Big 12 is set to do with the 4 teams that are coming in,
sure.
And obviously we know the 2 that are going to go out eventually, but how do you feel about where the Big 12 stands in all this as of right now?
Well, I do think, and I know I said this a year ago about the leadership Bob Bowlesby gave us. I mean, Bob's leaving our leadership ranks, and boy, the decision Bob made a year ago to move and not stand pat, well, I think pretty powerful right now. I think where we are today as a conference, we're in the best of shape that we could have been, probably a lot better shape than we were a year ago at this time. And so obviously a lot of credit to Bob his leadership and certainly the leadership of the Big 12 Conference to really make a good move at the time, because I think it's probably positioned us in a great spot moving forward.
What was your impression of the new commissioner, the one who comes in from an outside, but he's also talking about getting,
Sure.
do things with the league? What are your impressions?
Yeah, I think, again, it's hard for me to have great impressions just because I haven't had the opportunity to sit and talk to him yet. But I did watch a little bit of his press conference yesterday. I think it's exciting. You bring somebody with a maybe a little bit different mindset, a little bit different vision, but somebody that's still got the moral values of what Bob had and the integrity that Bob had. I think those things are really exciting for the conference and certainly exciting for our future.
Every time that there's a coaching opening comes up, your name gets mentioned. Why is Iowa State such the perfect fit for you, and why are you home at Iowa State?
Well, I think for me, it's always been about fit, and it's about people. I've been really fortunate. We've had a great president during my time here at Iowa State. We've had a phenomenal athletic director who's been with us now going on his 16th season at Iowa State. And I think any time as a coach, at least for me, I was never trying to be somebody else. I just wanted to be at a place that allowed what my passion is. My passion is, how do you build a program? How do you build continuity and consistency? Because for me as a player, that's what I got as a football player, and that worked out really well for me as a football player. And really looking to replicate that somewhere. And Iowa State certainly given us the tools and the leadership to be able to do those things.
With continuity and as you said, how is, with conference realignment and traditions being lost, traditional games being lost, how do you feel as a player, as a coach, about losing such traditions?
Yeah, again, to me, I look more at the individual institutions in the program more than I look at maybe the traditions of who you're playing or who you're not playing. I think it's really, isn't our job what we do? Isn't our job, and you're dealing with the lives of 18 to 22-year-old young men, and our job is to build great men and players. Somewhere along the line, I know we've lost that value system along the way, but I still think no matter, yes, it is to win, it is to have success, and I get all those things. There's a lot of money to do those things, and you're getting paid, but your number one job is to help inspire and empower young people to chase their goals and dreams on and off the field. And so I think, for me, I probably challenge that question back to myself, is I'm not too concerned about what happens outside of our walls. I'm way more concerned about doing it the right way inside of our walls.
Coach Campbell, how does Iowa and Iowa State maintain the rivalry while also being outside of conferences?
Yeah, again, I think that's a great question probably for our athletic department and the leadership at both schools. I know just as an outsider coming into Iowa State, you certainly know how special that rivalry is and the opportunity to play an in-state game and an in-state opponent. We've also played Northern Iowa in our conference as well, and so those games have been great. It's been great for our state. It's great for the fan bases and the alumni. So you certainly hope it continues, but again, those are decisions, and that goes to our leadership, our presidents, and our athletic directors.
Coach, how big is the win? And how big would it be to win in Iowa City this year?
Oh, geez, I think the win period is big. I think that's, when you look at what a game and rivalry games look like and feel like, the opportunity to have success in those games can be transformational for teams and programs. And so, anytime you compete against Iowa or anybody that we play on our schedule, it's hard to win in college football, and you want to go try to win a football game for sure.
All right, Coach, thank you for your
time.
time.
All right, guys, thank you.